Hello and welcome back to another Dead by Daylight killer concept video. Today we are going to be going over a concept for a cultist killer that belongs in the realm of the entity. Now the backstory for this killer is that he was a man brought into the entity's realm just like the other survivors. He had to fight, hide, and survive, but death after death soon wore him down and he grew tired of living this life. So he came up with a plan. If he could appease this entity, maybe the torture will stop. So he set off to gather a group of like-minded people and soon began trying to make offerings to the entity. This offering started off as willingly sacrificing themselves since death is not the end in this realm. But they soon noticed this did not please the entity at all. Soon, this plan of escape turned into an actual obsession as the members little by little wanted to please the entity rather than escape. They looked at the other killers as almost godlike beings that work for the entity and they wanted to be among them. So, they began hunting their fellow survivors and offered them as sacrifices to the entity, which, in turn, pleased it greatly. The entity finally had taken notice of this new following and had blessed them with its power, transforming them from survivors into the monsters they had worshipped. Now, going into their transformation, their design will have them wearing black robes, much like a traditional horror cult. However, since they are blessed by the entity, these robes will be covered in the entity's light, much like the effect that you could see in the Legacy Prestige skins, showing their connection and dedication with their newfound god. Now, as I said, the entity has transformed them, so when you look upon the cultist's face, you'll see that they actually do not have a face anymore. Where their facial features used to be, there will be a massive black hole surrounded by flesh, as the cultists have given up their identities to fully commit to the entity. As for the cultist's weapon, the entity has given them the privilege to use its own thorns to slice the survivors, so they will be carrying around their own personal entity spike to slash the survivors with. Going into the ability of the character, you will be playing as the leader of this cult, so he does not work alone. At the start of the match, when you get a view of your killer, you will also see the cultist is surrounded by 4 other minions. These minions are your ability power. When you are in the chase, you could summon one of your minions to appear and block doorways, windows, and even pallets. This way, survivors cannot pass and will have to change their direction, possibly leading them into some situations where you'll be able to get off a free hit before they could do anything about it. However, I have not decided on the balancing on this. Regardless, this ability is gonna have the first actual cooldown in the game. Most abilities, you could just use them. There's like a 1 or 2 second wait until you can use them again and then repeat. This cooldown is gonna also depend on how the ability will be used. So this cooldown could be anywhere from maybe 10, 30 seconds, or even a full minute depending on your add-ons. Not only that, depending on the summons, we can either have you summon a block from any distance during a chase or out of a chase, but that would probably result in a much longer cooldown for balancing purposes, and that cooldown might not trigger until you're out of the chase. Or you could summon a block within a certain distance away from your destination, which will result in a shorter cooldown without having to exit the chase. Like I said before in the other killer concept video, I'm not really good at balancing, so if you have any ideas, feel free to shoot them at me. In addition to blocking pallets, doorways, and windows, say a survivor has dropped a pallet and is trying to loop you. You could call upon your minion to actually pick up the pallet and hold it there, preventing the survivor from bringing it down again for a certain amount of time. So say someone is looping you, they finally drop the pallet, and they start teabagging like the little shit they are. You can instantly lift up the pallet and give the survivor a nice little stab. I feel like this is important because killer's ability on how to deal with pallet looping is probably one of the more important aspects in defining how strong a killer is, sadly, in this meta. So giving the cultist the ability to handle pallet looping to some degree really does help out. And now when we go into add-ons, I would also like to say that you can have rare or ultra rare add-ons that would allow you to block 2 or 3 areas at a time instead of actually blocking just one. But to balance this would actually be at the expense of a really long cooldown. And there you have it. There is my idea for a cultist killer in Dead by Daylight. If you have any more ideas on how to improve the cultist, go ahead and leave a comment. I will respond to all comments. If you like the video, then you should like the video, because that actually really helps us out. But I do really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you were entertained to some degree. Thank you for watching.